Today I'm going to show you how to use Quizziz. Quizziz is a online tool to allow you to create quizzes and tests for students to take in your classes. I'm going to show you the basics today of what you could do with the free account, and then we'll do more training on the premium features later. So to get to Quizziz, you would just go to quizziz.com, Quizizz.com. And when you get to the main page, you're going to go up to this purple button at the top, which says sign up, or the one in the middle, teacher sign up for free. And I recommend you sign in with your Google account. And then you'll see there's some stuff you could do for free. Some features, again, will be premium features, which we'll talk about later. And I'm not going to go over everything today. But yes, we will and you'll see up here where it has your name in the top left corner. This is the Lions teacher account, and it's a basic account. That means it's a free account. Eventually, it'll say premium account up here, and you'll see, you could actually see everybody in the district once that is true. Basically, it has a lot of AI features in here as well. But you could see on this homepage, you could create a video from a YouTube video, from content that you already have. You could import a Google Slides or Google Docs and turn it into a quiz. You could create a quiz from any link, and you could actually create custom stuff. There's also a lot of stuff other people have already created that you're able to use. It's very similar to Kahoot, where you could go and grab other people's stuff. And then they also have some stuff that they've created themselves on different things. And you could actually search for specific things to see if they have kind of a starter. So if you're going to be doing topic sentences, for instance, other people in Quizziz have created these. So it could give you a start. And then you could copy and edit any of these tests to customize them to make them your own. So let's go back to the main page here, and let's just do basic. We'll hit this purple button at the top left corner, and we're going to create our own quiz. We're going to say, and you could start from scratch. You can import something you already created, like a worksheet, a Google form, a spreadsheet, whatever you have, and generate with AI. But we're going to start from scratch today. We're doing basic stuff. You have your choice of different types of questions you could ask. Notice the ones with the little locks on those. Those are the ones you need the premium for. But you could do everything else with the free version. So some of the math stuff, some of the more advanced, like categorizing, matching, labeling, those will be part of the premium package. But for basic multiple choice, comprehension, fill in the blank, open-ended questions, you could do those right now for free with the free version. So I'm going to just start with a multiple choice question, and you would just type your question here, like and then you would mark any that are correct. And if there's multiple correct answers, you could click down here on multiple correct. If there's single correct answers, you can hit mark single. To add audio or video, those are part of the premium packages, but you could add pictures yourself. You could also do some formatting up here to make things bigger, that kind of stuff, change the font color, that kind of stuff. But usually, yeah, that looks pretty good. And then you could also change the points and the duration. I usually make all of mine 10 minutes. That way the students don't really have to add a whole thing for this. And notice down here in the bottom right corner, there is help and resources. So if you are stuck with stuff, or if you wish it could do something, you could add it to the teacher wish list. And you could also put an explanation, like, okay. And that way, those are kind of like if students run into need help with when they're taking this test. And then you could save the question, and it's there for you. And then notice you could duplicate the question, you could tag it, you could add more stuff, you could do all kinds of different stuff on here. But you're just going to add similar questions. Once you've added the questions you want, so I've added, so I have 4 questions here. I added a draw question, open-ended question, fill in blank, and multiple choice. You could change those however you want. So some things you could do that will affect all of them is down here where it says bulk update questions. You could change all of them to say, hey, 3 minutes per question. Or I really don't pay much attention to this. I just make everything 10 minutes typically because I turn off the timer during the actual test. Same thing with points. Points, you could change all the questions to the same points, but you could also go and change them individually as well, however you want. Make sure here up at the top you've actually named this quiz. So mine says Practice Quiz Computers, and it has a little gear up here where you could actually name your test and put in a picture as well. Once you are done adding questions to this, you'll get the choice over here to publish. Publish means it's just available now for you to like assign to students. So you have a couple choices when you're actually going to assign this to students in class. One, you could start it right now and start a live session with students. So if I say classic mode, and you could provide accommodations as well. And so I always like, for instance, to don't show the leaderboard, or allow them to use the read aloud supports, or have them do unlimited attempts. So I'll decide what kind of they want on here and then be done with it. Participant attempts, you could give them 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5 times, or unlimited. I like unlimited. And redemption questions. So these questions are basically, if they get something incorrect during the test, it will give them that question again at the end so that they could kind of boost their grade up. Because sometimes you'll see the answer in other questions and maybe they'll know it the second time. Like, do you want them to do it for mastery? So this is great if you're going to give the test as a review, or allow them to see their questions, or make it more gamified. And you could turn the music on and off. I turn the music off because I want them to use the read aloud features. But that's me. And I also do them random memes because some of them are kind of fun. I also don't show the leaderboard because that way they're not competing with each other, they're competing with themselves. Student live reactions, I turn that off. Question and answer, to show the answers. I validate, only tell them they're right, but not if they're wrong. Show answers after activity, I show the question only. I don't show them the correct answer. That way they can redeem themselves later. Again, if this was a review activity that I was going to do, I would turn all that on. And I also shuffle the questions and the answer options. And I also turn off the timer because our kids get stressed sometimes and anxious. And I turn on the option to skip questions and attempt later. That way they could move those to the end. Okay. So once you've done all those options, you could start. You could also assign it via Google Classroom this way and decide what choices you're going to make there. I really don't want to do that with this account. Um, but then you would just start and students would take the test. And then you, as the teacher, you have to hit start. They would have hit the QR code, or you could copy and paste this to Google Classroom to share it with them. They would sign in, and they would all be taking the test right now in class. And then you would stop it when everybody's done, and that would give you in your reports, like you would see their final assignments. Um, Now, if I want to assign it to the students to do either as homework, because it's a review activity, or even an open note test, or maybe even I'm going to assign it ahead of time in class, I could set a start time and an end time for this. How many times could they take it? A deadline. Sometimes I put a deadline, sometimes I don't, because as you know, some students will take longer because of absences to make up the test. And then you could also import your classes from Google Classroom and assign that way. You could also do the mastery modes and stuff like that we talked about before. Again, some of this stuff I do recommend highly that you turn on skip and attempt later, because students really need to be able to skip a question they don't know and come back to it later. I also, again, unless it's a review activity, I validate only and questions only to show answers during an actual test. I also shuffle, so they're getting, and turn off the timers unless for some reason you need a time test. Turn off the leaderboard. And again, it's up to you about the music. I recommend don't playing music. And the power-ups are options where students could basically play these little activities where they'll get extra points. Now, does that affect their grade? No, but it'll give them immunity or eliminate some choices sometimes during a test. And we could talk more about that later. But I generally don't turn the power-ups on unless it's a review activity. And then once you assign it, and then again, once you have your classes set up, you could do accommodations for students ahead of time, so you don't have to do them each time. And once you assign it, it'll give you the code right here, where you could just copy and paste this to Google Classroom and paste that in for students to take. Once students take their test, they'll appear on a list here. So I'm going to show you. So this is one. We'll talk more about how to grade these later and other reporting features in Quizziz. But that should get you started. And if you have any questions, please let me know.